remember it?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if I remember that.
Doesn't
Do you remember the movie Watermelon Man with
doesn't Bing Crosby sing?
Yeah,
Bing,
I remember Watermelon Man.
Bing Crosby sings White Christmas.
Watermelon Man was about I think a white guy who woke up black. Then he had to go through, his job. And he loses his job, and everyone hates him. And he's singing the song. They say in America, it can't be, right?
Yeah,
A classic.
but I don't remember Lou Rawls singing it.
John, guess what? Guess
No. If you can find it, just send it.
You can't remember it. You ain't black.
John, Pat's wife.
Playing the violin. That was my music.
They're trying to make the white boy out of you.
Oh, man, that was a white.
Guess what black man ruled Christmas? Snoop Dogg at the Minnesota U.S. Bank Stadium.
Oh my goodness.
We had that performance the other day.
Yeah, he had Andrea Bocelli and his son, plus a white girl country singer.
Yeah, Tanya.
It was Lainey Wilson.
Lainey Wilson, right.
John, Don's wife Pat had black Santas in her pictures on Christmas. It was black Santa Claus statues.
No, that's why we the other black Santa in our household.
With the black and white pictures?
Black elves and black
oh my
Santa Claus. And then we have also, what else? We have something else, black angels. So we have black celebration of a black Christ because everybody knows it.
But it wasn't Kwanzaa, was it?
No, it was Christmas. We believe in Christmas. Black. Jesus Christ was black. You people don't understand.
He was dark skinned. He wasn't black.
Keep quiet, man. He's black. He's in fucking Africa.
Ask Sister Faustina. She had a vision of Christ in Italy at a young age.
Whatever she had a vision of, she was probably crazy on some mushrooms.
No, she became a saint.
Right. Well, she was still crazy on mushrooms. That's how you become saint.
I'm gonna find that watermelon song that Don was talking about.
And that's by Lou Rawls. I want to see.
John, what's the name of the watermelon song?
Well, it's actually, the theme from 2001 where it goes da 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 da. That thing. They use that, and that theme. The guy singing "This Ain't America," this can't be. And it's Arthur Godfrey, I think. There's a comedian who's black. It starts with a white guy. He turns black. He wakes up the next day and he goes to work. And it's just showing how black people, especially in the 50s and 60s, were racially discriminated against. And so he loses his job and he's going back home. And everyone kind of hates him. And they play the movie is Watermelon Man.
Oh God! Just a minute.
Is that what?
I'm playing the Black People song, the watermelon song. Is this it?
What you need to do is look up Watermelon Man, the movie, and then see what the soundtrack, what songs are on it. I think that's the way.
Okay, let me see if I have that song. I never got to the meat and potatoes of the other one. Okay, hold on.
You had Calvin Brodus, I guess that's Snoop Dogg's name, right?
By Herbie Hancock. Watermelon Man by Herbie Hancock.
You said Lou Rawls.
Watermelon Man.
Dreaming of a Black Christmas is by Lou Rawls, but I can't find it.
All right, Dreaming of a Black Christmas. Look at that.
Well, Herbie Hancock sings Watermelon Man. Why are we looking this up?
We confirm that Christmas is black. They need to kneel down and walk.
We need black snow.
Oh no, we don't need black snow because when it
Don't eat
when it
yellow
melts
snow.
and all the soot all comes off and it turns white.
In China, they have yellow snow.
Yep, exactly. That's
Okay,
what we're talking
we're not. We're only 5 minutes into the show and it's already devolved.
What's it devolved to?
I don't know.
I mean, Christ is black. That's the fact.
He's not black. He's an olive-skinned Brad Pitt.
Oh, guys.
Mute.
Straight out of Africa.
Somehow the albinos took over. All the albinos took over Jerusalem.
Albinos. There was never albinos over there. There still ain't them albinos over there. Them people got olive skin, and some blacks mixed in, and everybody else.
Where is
Israel is 3% black. That's 3%. So what happened, Tom?
First of all, Abraham was born. He wasn't born in Africa. He was born where Israel is now.
Well, that was that.
No, it wasn't.
The Middle East is Africa?
It was Gaza.
Middle East used to be Africa when the lands were together and everybody in Africa.
I thought Abraham was born in the land of Chaldeans.
Yeah, that was Africa.
No, it wasn't.
We were Pan-Earth.
He was born in the land of Chaldean, which is also known as ancient Sumeria, which is in the city of Mesopotamia, which is southern Iraq. He moved his family to the land of Canaan.
Whatever, he was asking.
I guess all the black people moved out because they couldn't afford the rent.
No.
It's the Ur of Chaldea. Okay.
No,
You're wrong, Don. You haven't studied the Bible since childhood. Abraham was born in the Ur of Chaldees.
Jane, you're not listening to what I said. It was all Africa.
No, Iraq wasn't.
Iraq was a white man's name that he put on the damn state and called it Iraq. Fucking Iraq was Africa. It was all Africa. That's what it was.
Africa is a continent. It's not part of the Middle East.
So they owe reparations?
A city in ancient Mesopotamia, which is generated by the Sumerian city of Ur, which is modern-day southern Iraq.
That's fine. It was all Africa.
No, it wasn't.
It was. White people called it Africa. I called it Iraq. It was Africa. This whole area was Africa.
It was called Mesopotamia, and below that there was the Syrian desert, which is now part of Jordan. And there's the.
That's not Africa.
No, it's not. It's the Middle East. And what's the gulf between Egypt and Israel? I forget what it's called. What's it called?
Mexico. It's Gulf of Mexico.
You guys don't know your geography. Yes. The Suez Canal is between Egypt and southern Israel. And that was established by the British, but they lost control in the 1950s.
So, if we all came from black people, what came first? Chimpanzees or black people?
Aliens. They landed there right in Mesopotamia and just moved on from there.
I'm putting a map up for the show.
And that's fine, no problem. Because all I'm saying is every everything started in Africa.
No, it didn't.
That's all it was.
Not religiously.
The Nile.
The Sumerian city in the state of Ur is in ancient Mesopotamia, which is not in Africa. Everything didn't start in Africa. You're being arrogant. And
No, everything started by the Nile. The Nile and Euphrates.
no, the Tigris and Euphrates is in the Mideast. The Nile is in Egypt.
Yeah, the Nile. We're talking about the Nile.
Well, it's not by the Tigris and Euphrates. That's the cradle of civilization where Abraham's area was from. Joseph was beat up by his brothers and then sent to Egypt as a slave. And Pharaoh's wife found him in a basket in the river. That was the Nile. But Abraham was born by the Tigris Euphrates. That's the beginning of God's relationship with Israel, which came long before Islam and long before Christianity.
You ain't got no brains.
All right, I'm to tell you the truth, I'm hanging up on you tonight. Okay? You have no education. John? You're back on the show. I hung up on you by mistake.
That's okay.
I'm not gonna argue with somebody who doesn't know their Bible history. It's like he put his finger on, I don't know how to describe it. Like he put his finger on a flat geographical map, and he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Did we lose him?
No, I hung up on him.
You hung up? I'll bring the black man back.
No, I'm not going to bring someone back who's ignorant.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but he's entertaining.
I'll call him back after the show. So just so you know, the Tigris-Euphrates River has always been called the cradle of civilization.
That's true.
And Ur was a region, like let's call it a county.
Yeah.
It's a county in the middle of the Mesopotamian Empire, which is part of Arabia, so to speak, the Saudi Arabian continent. It was near Turkey, the Tigris-Euphrates, but it was actually in Iraq, not far from Babylon. That's nowhere near Africa.
Yeah, that's kind of a stretch.
It's at least 300 to 500 miles away from Africa. Egypt is southwest of the Tigris-Euphrates, about 300 to 500 miles. I'm just guessing. So,
yeah, it's been around a long time, but they didn't do too much with it.
Well, you know how Israel was along the shore of the Mediterranean? Well, Egypt is on the shore of the South Mediterranean, and that's where Alexandria was, which is a great learning center for all three religions.
Wow. A lot of things are happening in Minnesota.
Well, I was going to bring up a few things. So, what I was going to say is, before I do that, I'm going to just text Don that call back tomorrow night.
Oh, bring him back. Give him a second chance.
Maybe in 15 minutes.
Yeah, bring him back.
I said in 15 minutes. I want to explain something first. He hasn't gone to church.
He doesn't know history. That's all.
But then he said we don't know anything when we do.
But just tell him to bring one valid source historically. That's all. Like anyone. Be a black professor, something.
Okay, well, I'm tired of him saying you guys don't know anything either. So basically, what I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you don't tell people they don't know anything when I've known Bible history for. I'm 65 now. I started learning Bible history at age 2. I do know things.
Oh yeah, you know a lot of stuff.
And remember when Joseph's brothers beat him up and then sent him off in the wilderness alone?
Oh yeah.
And all of us, and he got enslaved. Well, okay, first of all, Potiphar's wife or somebody lied about him and said that he tried to steal the wife. And then he had to be a servant in the Egyptian temple for several years. And finally, he earned the trust of the king. Eventually, he became the king's second-hand man. And he was the second most respected person in all of Egypt. When he had the dream about the 7 years of lean times versus the 7 years of plenty. And he was exactly right. And then he became famous and heroic.
Wow.
So, anyways, first of all, in Minnesota this week, a 43-year-old security guard was assaulted 30 miles north of Minneapolis in a city named Wyoming, and she died today. She got assaulted on Christmas Day. And she got assaulted by a patient without a gun or a knife or any weapons. I guess he just punched her up, but she died from the injuries. What else did you want to say about my state?
They had some kind of like press conference, and they had several leaders of the government of Minnesota. One of them, the lady, I forgot her name, but she was wearing a hijab, a burqa, like she's.
It was Amy It wasn't Amy Klobuchar. It was Peggy Flanagan. She's running for governor.
So it's like now she's a Muslim, you know. I mean, like now she's got to wear the hijab and the burqa, even though she doesn't know really what the culture means. Like
I made a mistake. She's running for senator. She used to be Tim Walz's lieutenant governor, but he's running again, but she's not. I saw that she was wearing a hijab, but I thought it was just a publicity stunt.
Could be, you know, just the whole thing. She wants to appeal and to that community, and it like Minnesota. They should make the capital like call it Somaliapolis or something.
Well, strangely enough, Minnesota just changed their state flag, and it's like this. Imagine a square flag. It's like this. 2 lines going diagonal. So, and then there's a star, and it looks almost identical to the country of Somalia. And our state flag used to be like a farmer walking along a river, and now it looks exactly like Somalia. And there's this thing going around the internet saying that Somalians had some kind of prophecy that they were going to inherit the land. And 3,000 years ago, and I don't even know what they were called 3,000 years ago, but the land was discovered by Minnesota Vikings in 1100. And I made a TikTok video that the land was ruled by Ojibwe and Dakota Indians many, many years ago.
The Ghiblis.
So should I text Don and said he can call back now?
Oh yeah, bring it back in.
Okay, hold on.
Be a long night without her.
It means that you and I won't fight.
Oh. I know you can fight with him.
Hold on. I thought Bianchi would be calling tonight.
You would think he would go for it.
Well, he's the one who bugs me all week long, and then the night of the show he doesn't call. Suzette sent me a Christmas card.
Oh, really? That's thoughtful.
Something good happened to me today.
Really? What happened?
I went to go visit my friend who has pancreatic cancer, and he's lived like 3.5 years past his. First of all, most people with pancreatic cancer don't live past a year. Well, he's only 43 and he's lived 3 years. Well, when I was leaving his house, which is an hour and a half away from me, he gave me $100. What happened on your sound, John?
Oh, I'm not sure. I've got my phone around my neck. I'm just, putting on shoes and, equipment, getting ready to go out in a few minutes.
Well, we don't have to do that long of a show tonight, but I didn't really want to talk about Minnesota Somalians again.
Well, this guy,
we can talk about the Nigerian Trump invading the Islamic cause in Nigeria. That's the Islamic the terrorist group that keeps killing Christians.
He is trying to save Christians. That's true. It's interesting. There's a guy. He basically took a printout of all the NGOs and the various Somali the programs, and he just went to all the addresses like where they're supposed to have child care. Like these are places that have like 2 million, 1.5 million. And none of them, they're open. There's no kids there. There's just a couple people with burqas there. And then when he asks questions, they call security and have him, and he went from place to place. It's like, this is, like there's no children here. There's supposed to be 100 kids here. And it's just very interesting just how scammy, like no one's checking up on this. I'd like to see a follow-up, like, okay, every month is it like this? Like, what have they ever had kids? And, what do they do? Is it a front?
Was this the feeding those who feed us, or feeding our kids for the future?
Well, also some of it's just for housing. And I mean, not housing, but child education. And like, let's see, it is. Somali population. Here, this building alone, all learning centers, daycare. Yet they still learning wrong. It's funded for 1.9 million. It's supposed to be 99 kids there. She says there's nobody there. It's almost like boarded up.
I think that was during the ice raids, wasn't it, last week?
Well, as far as it was snowy, should be in here. And this place is in this case, there's no snow or anything. It's just locked. It's no windows. So
was this
kind of interesting?
Well, last week when the ice was there, all the Somali businesses and daycares and health centers nobody showed up because they were.
What we should do as a project is have you go and just check out these places. Actually, go there and just say, "Hey, I live here in Minnesota, and I really love a Somali population. I pay taxes, and I want to see just the great work that you're doing here with all the Somali children, and just check it out. I think that would be a great.
Why don't you watch my TikTok video on Somalia?
If you go visit those places, I'll check out your TikTok.
You and I are friends on TikTok. So did your brother start a new Facebook group called Heaven's Culture?
No, that's a friend of ours. His name's Carlos, and he goes out and preaches, and he has his own little thing going. Really good. So we're kind of joining forces as far as he posts things. He does a lot of live stream, like when we're out there, performing. And he's a really cool dude. He helps people. He's a street preacher.
I've seen his picture.
Yeah, Carlos is one of the coolest dudes you ever meet. A real Christian. I mean, a real human being. Someone you can talk to, and if you need a ride or you need a meal, he's there. He's a real person. He's not like one of these people that just live another life. You know, they don't have time for anyone.
What did he do before he met you guys?
He was, as we would call, a professional sinner. You know, he would go clubbing. He was married. He would cheat on his wife. He'd go out and get drunk and, you know, hit the clubs and you know, smoke weed.
And then God
and
awoken him?
For about 20 years, and he had his mom prayed for him. He knew preachers and other people. And, you know, he finally got tired of it. He's like, the Lord kind of, you know, he got burned out on the life. And he realized that he was going to hell, basically. He turned his life around. Now he's out there preaching on the street corners. He said, "I used to laugh at guys like that."
Charles Stanley said anybody wrapped up in sin is eventually going to come to an understanding. Those who are aware, and they like if they are searching for something spiritually and turn to God, that God will awaken them. But other people will just stay ignorant in their sins if that's what they choose.
As we say, everyone eventually will figure it out. Just some people, it'll be too late. They'll be in front of God, you know, before they get thrown into hell. But everyone eventually will figure it out. Like I used to tell people, they would say, you know, I've been smoking for 20 years. I'm having a hard time stopping. I say, oh, everyone stops smoking. The question is if you're alive when you do, you know.
My mother didn't stop until she stopped at 63, I think, and she died at 72, but she had to wear oxygen the last 9 years of her life.
She probably had really black lungs too.
Well,
her had white skin but black lungs.
You know, people's O2 level is supposed to be about 98 or 99. Hers was 32.
That's not good.
She was in the hospital and she almost died, so she went back on oxygen.
What's your breathing level?
98 or 99. I've never smoked.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So what I can do is I can use this show tonight as a test pilot. And it seems like Suzette won't be calling in until tomorrow night. But I want to talk a minute about your ministry and my ministry. And then I want to do a little introduction. And then I want to tell you about someone I confronted this week about their sins.
Oh, wow.
So I want to go back to what we were talking about before. Abraham and his wife Sarah, they lived way up in northern Arabia, which was the land of Ur in Mesopotamia. And eventually they ended up in Canaan. But after they had their children, their offspring, which family member had 9 or 10 kids? I can't remember. That formed the whole...
Yeah, didn't he have several wives, and or at least 2, and one of them kept popping out like about 7 or 8, and then his wife finally had a kid and died.
No, he only had one. He had one lover, which was a maidservant, and she had Ishmael, and they had Isaac together. But I believe it was Isaac or his son Jacob that had the 10 kids that formed the tribes of Israel.
There was Rachel and Leah, I believe.
Yeah, so anyways, after all that happened, then, like I said, Joseph was sent to a slave in the land of Egypt, but the whole family ended up in Canaan, which is about where Haphi, Israel is located now. It's way above. I'm looking at the map. It's way before the Suez Canal was created, but it was on the Mediterranean coast. It was north of Jerusalem, and that's where the heart of the Abrahamic religion was created.
Right.
But then, of course, all the Jews, after all their years of disobedience, ended up in Egypt as slaves. And that's when there were the 10 curses against the Pharaoh. And then they went back to the land of milk and honey, which is, I also believe, was Canaan. And that's where the rest of the tribe manifested itself.
Well, half the Jews live in Israel, and the other half made it to New York and California. That's actually kind of the world demographic.
It's a big chunk of Jews live in New York and Cali, but they also live in Australia, and a lot of famous Americans were Ukrainian Jews.
They're pretty well in Russia, yeah.
Yeah, there were many Russian and Ukrainian Jews that never really, they didn't make it into the Americas. They're still there. And
yeah, Germany didn't work out too well, though.
Guess who's a Ukrainian Jew? Volodymyr Zelenskyy.
Oh, that's right, Zelenskyy.
All his grandparents were killed, and he only had one grandparent that survived. And I guess that guy was a strong guy. And
you think it's gonna survive Putin?
All those war and peace talks keep going around and round in circles, and I don't think Russia's gonna abide by the system. So eventually, something's gotta crack.
I mean, Putin's gonna I think he keep on going. Can Zelenskyy keep going? Well, we should prop him up.
I think I heard stories about like people from Kenya flying into Russia who were forced to fight, and him using other people from other nations like Koreans. I don't know how this is all gonna end. All I know is that I know that Putin is hurting as far as manpower, but
I guess the question would be if let's just say Putin, if the whole country doesn't collapse, he can keep going for 20 years. Zelenskyy has less people, less resources, unless the UN or the U.S. Prop him up. So but even with that, he's only got so many people. If he keeps losing so many soldiers, so the question is, in his case, is it better for him to say, listen, Putin wants an extra 30% of my country that he doesn't have. Like, he wants extra land. Do you just say, okay, you get 30, I keep my 70, or I'm just going to fight to the end and lose it all?
Well, I think your way is logical, but I heard that like Russia's always kind of controlled the Donbas region or the Donbass. And I heard that Ukraine doesn't really want them to control all the ports on the Black Sea.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, no one wants, someone to take your wife and your kids and this and that. But if you go, okay, I got to give up, either we all die today or they take my daughter. They take her and they let the rest of us live.
I feel like there's going to be massive amounts of more killing if the Ukrainians don't come to some understanding with Russia. However, I don't think, let's just say the peace settlement was decided and then implemented. I don't know how much Russia's going to behave. That's
true.
Because they said Zelenskyy wants to maintain his own army and not integrate with the Russian forces.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I guess the question would be should we be that 70 or 80% of his supply, or should it be the United Nations, since that's their backyard?
It's hard to say because like places like Canada is helping Ukraine now, and Europe's been helping them, and as the Pope even said, Trump is more aligned with other countries now than Europe. So the whole dynamic change of NATO is kind of no longer in existence. And I don't know how that's going to affect the outcome in Ukraine, but it seems to me that Trump wants to be involved in the peace process.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to get probably credit on it. And the main thing, he's the only hammer in the mix. He's the only big gun. And so if he's not involved that way, so Putin's just going to say, okay, I don't need to back down to anyone.
I mean, I wonder what it would be like if NATO decided to invade the outskirts of Russia. Would it end up as World War III?
It could to a degree. I mean, Russia could certainly shoot a bunch of nukes at him if it got really bad. If Putin is on a suicide mission, if he doesn't really care.
It seems like Is that your brother piping in?
Oh
And
yeah, he's a piper. He's a magpie.
well, all I know is that Zelensky's flying to the White House tomorrow or Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump. He's leaving Canada tonight. He's meeting there first, then going to Mar-a-Lago. And then I don't know where it's going to go from there. We just have to wait and see. All I know is that neither side is really satisfied and neither one wants to compromise.
Well, Trump said he doesn't. Zelensky doesn't have the cards, and Trump seems to be a straight shooter about the stuff. You know, like he's just telling them, you better strike a deal, or you're just going to be up the creek.
Well,
because he doesn't want to finance just a 20-year war with them.
I think the war's been going on 2 or 3 years now. It's just too much.
He just wants to make a deal, cut it, and do it one way or another, or strike a deal with NATO or someone else. But we're not going to fund it. Whatever we do, we're going to make them buy stuff. We're not just going to give stuff away. So
I know that there's American forces lined up in Romania. One of my friend's son is he graduated from West Point and he's one of the commanders there. But there are troops in European countries ready to go in.
Oh yeah, but we got Russian influence and Chinese influence in Venezuela and in South America, and up in by Alaska and Greenland. They've got ships all over the place, Chinese and Russian ships up there.
They do?
So, oh yeah, they do patrols and things, and we have naval bases or Air Force bases there. And that's come Trump just keeps saying you got 60,000 people there. It's not even an American city. Denmark has no weapons to defend you. I mean, technically, Trump could just say, "I'll just start building, Air Force here. You ain't gonna stop us, You could, but of course, the UN would be all up in our face, or NATO, and then the world would say we're bad people. But China goes into all these different countries and does the
the South China Sea. China has been invasive with their Navy fleet and stuff for over 5 years in that area.
Yeah, they don't ask anyone's permission. They just go in and start doing stuff. Like all this lithium in Africa, Chinese own the land. They've bought it, and then they have these Africans mine it, and then they pay them the money. They supervise it. They're there with guns and things like that. And security, and they do that all over the place. They go into Venezuela, they buy up the lands, they buy up ports, and then they're monitoring all the ships checking in. So it's Trump. They may say, "Oh, he's being a bully." He's just trying to cover our back end, and we're going to find ourselves surrounded by China and Russia, and no one to defend us, just us. And if we cut our militaries, okay, we're not even going to have the weapon, the sophistication of battleships, of subs, of nuclear, of drone capability, of satellite surveillance. China could knock out our satellites. And with these hypersonic missiles, we can't even track. So I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Trump's a warmonger." No, Trump is trying to stop World War III. And the only one that will stop that is a strong arm. And when they see weakness, they'll take us.
So I'm not gonna directly comment on that right now, but
I mean, you can. You can disagree, but I mean that's.
Well, I don't. All I know is I really don't know how. I know how strong China is, but I think Russia is. How do I want to put this? I don't think Russia's in the best shape right now.
They're not, but there's alignment with Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran, and a couple other countries. So if they get lined up and they all want to start, dancing with ships and nukes and different, more like cyber warfare, like knock out our satellites, knock out our power grids, things like that, we would have a hard time dealing with that. It's one thing to take one country. Yeah, we can take any of them one-on-one, but you go 3-on-1 from different, east, north, west, south, that's a lot to deal with. And China's not doing it on a quick run. They're doing it on a 100-year plan. So, and then you got the Islam. You got the that thing going on in like Nigeria and other countries. They're taking over Europe and England and Middle America. They're moving in. So we got a lot of stuff to keep an eye on.
So will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Will you talk a little bit about whatever you want to while I call Don in the other room?
Go for it.
Okay, hold on. I haven't left the room yet. Hold on. He gave me an explanation on texting that's way off. Pangea, when it was a supercontinent, was 335 million years ago.
Wow.
And he's trying to compare that to his modern day theology. So
he has a version of history that's a little different than reality.
I'll just stay here right now, okay? And I'll call him. So you don't have to feel abandoned. When do you have to leave for your concert, your performance?
I'm leaving in a few minutes, but I could mute my phone and hang.
Yeah, just stay with me a minute. I'm calling him on my land phone. I'm calling you, Don, from my home phone. First of all, Pangea was 335 million years ago. Abraham, the introduction of Abraham into what was called the Jewish faith was between 4,000 and 5,000 years ago. And I sent you a map of Mesopotamia and the land of Ur, which is near Turkey and the Tigris-Euphrates River. And it's nowhere near Africa. It's on the continent of Asia, which goes from Saudi Arabia to China. And Adam and Eve were not in Africa. They were also in Mesopotamia. So what kind of smoke, marijuana-filled professor did you have?
So Eve was black?
No, I'm saying that Adam and Eve were born near the Tigris-Euphrates River, which is in modern day Mesopotamia. Well, it's in modern day, like near Jordan and Iraq, and it's.
So were they white or black?
Well, John, you can't really hear the conversation because I'm calling from another phone. Don't ask stupid questions.
Well, that's what he's saying. He's saying we're all black.
So I don't understand what your point is. And then at the end, you said, none of us know what we're talking about. Some of us have been studying the Bible for 60 years. We never left the church. So I would like an apology. No, you can apologize. Are you eating your dinner? Well, call back tomorrow night, and in the meantime, open up your Bible where the maps are. The Nile is in Egypt. The Tigris-Euphrates is in northern Arabia, which is also by Jordan and Iraq. They're not anywhere near each other. You're talking about another part of civilization. You're not talking about the origin of the Jewish faith. Mount Horeb is where just a minute, John. Mount Horeb is where Moses got the two tablets with the 10 commandments. That's not in Africa. It's in Asia. Pangea was in 335 million years ago. Mount Horeb is in Sinai, which is near hold on. He received the 10 commandments, often linked to Mount Sinai in the Arabian and Sinai Peninsula. That has not a damn thing to do with Africa, I hate to tell ya. No, it's not. Go back. Tell Pat to open up your old-fashioned Bibles that have maps in there. And straighten yourself out before tomorrow night. Good night.
Oh, man.
He's busy eating his stupid dinner.
Well, we lost another one.
We're on the Jihad Jane radar.
Elvis was before Michael Jackson, so the king of rock was white and the king of pop is black. Well, actually, he's half black and white, I guess.
Who?
Michael Jackson. His skin was half white.
He ended up becoming more white. He had infatigo or that disease where your skin is two different colors.
Right. Vitiligo or something.
Like our friend Rose. She has that same illness.
Is Rose black?
Now you're being you're being trying to be funny.
I like Rose. She's a cool person.
I'm gonna go postal on everybody by New Year's.
Well, you got 4 days to get it right.
Okay, well, maybe in the spring you'll come to Minnesota to Somaliland.
Yeah, when Minnesota freezes over.
You owe me a visit. I've been up here 13 years.
Well, that's when I was rich.
You were gonna come to Chicago.
I've come upon hard times, but now my life is Helen's kids in Nairobi.
I can't donate plasma right now because
that sucks. That's an easy $400 a month.
Well, I could, but I just had surgery and other complications.
Yeah, it would be a stress on your.
I feel like I'm getting too old and I'm not in good enough physical health. How about you?
Actually, I'm doing very well.
Are you 66 now?
I'm 66. Yeah, I'm the same age as my dad.
You're 1 year older than me.
My dad expired at 66.
I know. Well, let's do a prayer for the end of the show, okay?
Okay.
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing my long-term radio buddies into my life.
Yes, Lord.
Dear Lord, please provide me more patience as I tackle major international issues and that my friends come in and chime in their 50 cents. But dear Lord, please allow people not to have delusional behavior and study history as it is written, and they can make their own interpretations, but not like put France 1,000 miles away from where it is. And dear Lord, I pray that people have compassion and understanding as we draw closer to your return, and that in the next year, I think we're going to be facing more and more major human battles, and there's going to be even more struggles, and we've already seen hundreds of major disasters occur over the last year, including Jamaica, and now in California with water and mudslides. So I just pray that everybody stays strong and sturdy, and that they continue to follow you and be apart from sin. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Yes.
So now that I'm gambling free, I paid $1,400 off to my bank, and I'm in better shape now.
Oh, that's good.
How about you?
So you're gambling free, or you're free to gamble?
No, I quit in mid-November. My last relapse. I'm free from gambling.
Oh, that's great.
And I went back to listening to Charles Stanley twice a day.
So 2026 is going to be a great year.
I'm not going back. I swear on the name of Jesus. I'm not
that's
going
great.
back.
Well, Tony Robbins has a nice program.
Is he the one who wrote those books about women and sex?
No, he's a motivational coach. Like for Oprah and all these different people, and like he is one who started people like walking on fire and other things, like how to overcome obstacles and make challenges, and it's kind of in your mind. He had a theory. Basically, he worked for a very famous motivational coach, and so he started studying under him, and the guy who was studying under, they taught like self-discipline. So what he felt that most people just don't have enough self-discipline, like they're going to fail eventually. So his thing is rewiring your mind. So you notice that what people like to do is pleasure, so it's like dopamine. So they do things like drink, smoke, gamble, whatever it is, sex, and that their mind, it fills them up, and then when they get frustrated, they just go and party out, right? So he felt if you can program your mind or rewire it so when you do good stuff or discipline, you associate that as your pleasure, there's no obstacle. Suddenly like, oh, I'll work all day because it's fun, even though it's not. But mentally, if you can rewire your mind to think that way, so that's kind of his main principle. And he sold like 50 million kits. He does seminars.
Well, I think one thing I've learned through the Charles Stanley sermons, the first thing you have to pinpoint is why are you directing yourself to certain pleasures? Then when you remove the pleasures such as gambling or sex or something, then you have to find something to replace it with. So when you study someone like Thomas Merton, who was a Catholic monk, a Jesuit, he was a Cistercian monk, I'm sorry. I replaced gambling with fasting and studying Catholic monasticism. And then physically preventing myself from going over to Wisconsin where the gambling bars are. So I removed myself from the territory where the gambling occurred. Another thing gamblers do is once you're in recovery, the smart thing to do is not carry more than $20 cash with you at all times.
Oh, wow.
So, like, let's say you have 5 debit cards, only put 1 in your wallet, like for gas or if your car has to get towed.
Could you loan me $10?
Sure. I won't get paid till Wednesday, though.
I can break a 20 for you.
Well, you shouldn't ask a recently clean gambler for money till about 3 months, because they're still paying off debts.
They say when a guy's wife turns 40, he turns her in for 2 20-year-olds.
You're terrible. You're equating age with money.
That's what it boils down to.
Now, in the Catholic Church, you're not allowed to fornicate or have sex unless you're married.
What if you're wearing a condom though, and you don't, technically that's a barrier.
Well, what I'm saying is, if people are gonna sin, they're gonna sin, if their heart is in the wrong place. But I recently told somebody that if they have a man living with them, even if they're not having sex, she can't go out and find another man until she gets rid of that man.
Oh, wow.
Because it's immoral in the eyes of God. Now,
women should not be cohabitating with a guy. I mean, as far as
like I had a male roommate at one time. It was completely platonic. But if I had an ex-boyfriend living here and then I started dating someone else, it's too messy.
You should marry him or bury him. or carry him. One of them.
Well,
how's Cookie doing?
He seems to be doing okay, even though he has a hard time demonstrating his emotions.
Did you send him a Christmas card?
I sent him a $48 box full of stuff. I had to pay $48 to send it priority. I had 2 things of candy in there. I had his army patches he left here. I put 3 things from like Japanese anime, like little statues that he left here. I put his dress shoes in there. And then I put in candy, homemade cookies from Grandma D. I can't remember what else I put in there. I know I put a bunch of stuff in.
Now, is Joan still connected to him, or are they kind of estranged?
She calls and texts him, and he answers her about once every 3 times.
Wow. How's her son doing?
He lives in Texas, and he has 2 part-time jobs, plus he's a substitute teacher.
Oh, my goodness.
The part of town that he lives in, it's a small town called Wills Point. You have to drive kind of far to get real jobs. He's a juvenile detention officer.
Wow.
And he's also a substitute teacher.
So he's like Slick was.
Yes, he started out part-time because they don't have full-time openings, so he has to wait for somebody to quit.
Well, what he needs to do is just get a shift and then get injured on the job and then don't work for like 15 years or 10 years.
Like Slick?
Oh, yeah.
Not everybody milks the system.
You gotta know which cow to pick.
He's doing fine. He moved to Texas where he wanted to. He moved by his best friend. And he lives an hour out of Dallas.
Wow.
So let's just end the show on a good note. We've been talking an hour already. And tomorrow night, I'm going to have my guns ready for Dawn.
Oh, really? Poor Dawn.
Okay, have fun on your church ministry tonight.
You too, much success with your continued sobriety to the vices of your life.
God bless you. I'm doing well. Thank you.
And, let's just remember before you go to bed to always say a prayer for the greatest president in the history of the United States.
Click. I'm hanging up now. You mean Bernie Sanders? Yeah, you're right.
I feel the burn.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
This thing only has 4 years.
It
goes by so fast.
He has 1 year in my eyes.
Oh. Okay, Jay.
All right, bye-bye. Bye.
Boy.
So, I'm not having any more hosts tonight. My eye looks weird tonight because I did have eye surgery on December 11th, but it doesn't look like it's fully open. I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple of things before I hang up the streaming service. So, we've been doing this show for 16 years. My name is Jane, and I have gotten more holy in my approach to Christianity and my belief system in Jesus Christ since I laid down my final vice, I guess you could say, gambling, which this year I only intermittently failed. It wasn't something I consistently did. So I believe in July of 2024, I had a major relapse. Then I quit several months. Then my son disappeared in November for a whole year. And he was discovered through the Tempe police who called me around Halloween of this year. And he was in a facility for a little while. And while he was in that facility, I flew out to Tempe, and my twin sister met me there, and we attempted to go visit him several times, but in this particular facility, he couldn't have any guests. So what we did is we passed notes to him, and then within 2 weeks, he got sent to Valleywise, which is another mental health facility that he was sent to against his will. So he had a confrontation with the Tempe police on the street. He wasn't charged with anything, but he was brought against his will to a facility in which he lived in 27 days. And I was blessed in the sense that I knew where he lived because I got this mailing from Wells Fargo that indicated that. But I didn't really know how he was doing it or if he was ever going to be in touch with family. So basically, we went out there, and on the 7th out of the last day, which was 8 days, I finally got to see him. And it was great to see him. He seemed accepting of our family again. He wasn't pushing us away. And he promised to keep in touch with us. And he has up until this day. So I feel like now as time has passed, I've gotten more insecure about it because he doesn't directly express what his own needs are. And he hasn't told me any details about his monthly visits to this one facility. But I'm trying to stay strong and supportive of him. And recently he obtained a job and he's going to be starting soon. And I'm just going to let the chips fall where they may. I'm glad he's back in my life, but I'm facing certain struggles in Duluth. First with having eye surgery. And I haven't been able to see out of this left eye more than 50% for 2 or 3 months. But now that I had the eye surgery December 11th, it's a vast improvement. So after that, I've just been living my life and praying and listening to Charles Stanley. And I also work at a school and an overnight job, but I got influenza A, so I was deathly ill for over 2 weeks. And today's the first day that I really ventured out. So I'm thankful for God healing me slowly. And I've also been fasting for a while. And then one day I ate only blueberries the whole day. And then I was down to like 1 meal a day for 3 days. And now I'm back up to 2 meals. And I'm trying to lose about 20 pounds. So thank you for listening tonight. I would say that I'm in average shape, just coming off this illness. And I feel blessed. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.